Hey everybody, I just finished my first official playthrough of Civilization VII, which was the game that I was playing through currently and still am. And I have to admit, tremendous. The game is tremendous. It's addictive, to say the very least. Every time you have a turn that you complete, you want to get to the next one. Now, I was introduced to Civilization with 6. That was the first one that I played, and I watched as much of the Let's Plays I could find on YouTube from 1 through 5. I heard that people said 5 was the best, or 4 was the best, or whatever. It's funny because you have those who loved 6, or those that said 6 was not as good as 4 and 5, despite liking 6, or whatever it was that their opinions were related to it. And then they go back to the realistic art styles of 5 and 4, and everyone's complaining. It's just amazing to me, but we'll get to that in a second. But with this game, it's a turn-based strategy game, not a real-time strategy game. Per se, it's like a board game where you take your turn and then everyone else takes theirs. And from my experience in 6, I can tell you that it's a far better, far more polished experience. 6 was very clunky. It was an old game. It took forever once you got to about turn 200. This game, especially on the Switch, did not run well. 6 didn't. This one runs so much smoother, so much quicker. I went through over 320 turns, I believe. Probably about 350 turns or more, and it took me maybe 11 hours. So if I understood the nuances of this game when I first started playing this, now to be fair, this wasn't my first playthrough. My original first playthrough, I accidentally saved over. So I had to do it again because I didn't really even get into the exploration age in the first playthrough. So starting over from a completely different leader and civilization, everything, and trying to learn their nuances while getting a better understanding of the game while streaming it at the same time, picking it up, watching other people that had been playing the game for longer than I had and everything, trying to figure out as I went along and whatever. It was quite the experience, and now that I know it better, I enjoy it more. And that's the thing about this game, is the more you play it, the more you enjoy it. It's just well put together. It is a lot easier to pick up and play than 6. 6 has way too much going on. With this one, you have to understand, especially if you're coming from 6, that when you are able to expand your city or town, you are improving those tiles that you're expanding on. And understanding all that, figuring out the adjacency bonuses, whatever, a lot of that I would suggest watching people like me play first, but the ultimate experience itself is just really engaging. There is a high replay value to it because of the fact that you have a bunch of different leaders, and more will be coming. You have different civilizations you can match them with in 3 different eras. You can start from the beginning. You can just go to the modern era. There are so many different ways that you can play this game, and there are so many different ways you can win. And one of the things that I do appreciate about this one, more so than 6, is typically with 6, especially on Deity, you're going to be so far behind the evolutionary ladder that it'll take you, at least on console or the Switch specifically, it will take you so long to catch up that you will never catch up. So it's up to you to have to strategize more so than a computer that has an excessive amount of resources against you, but may play the game like a buffoon. Now, there are times when I played 6 on Deity that the computer just wiped me out completely right out of the start. But for the most part, they would let you linger, and you would be there for a while. You'd be getting about 150 to 200 science per turn by turn 300, and they're at like 10,000 by the... So in this game, it balances it out a little bit better. And what I mean by that is it's not just adjacency bonuses, it's not just cards, it's not just whatever, but there are specific ways that you get golden ages going into the modern era where there are specific ways to win. And wherever you ended off in the previous era doesn't dictate where you start in the next, per se. You are going to be down in culture and science per turn and the important civic trees and whatever, but you can catch up in the next subsequent eras more so than you could from turn 0 to 100, 100 to 200, and so on and so forth in Civilization 6. And you don't have to dominate everybody. You don't have to march through an entire map to win a military victory. You don't have to get all this culture from building a city that's in the middle of the tundra that can't really produce anything and get a million city parks and send rock bands to win culturally. You can win economically through building certain buildings and rail stations and everything. You can win scientifically by not having to blast up a rocket in space and hope that you have 100 plus production in at least one of your cities, and then getting the space program going and the exoplanet expedition and the laser. You don't have to go through all that. You can do it with a little bit more reality and a little bit more availability. So there is a lot to learn, but there is a lot to exploit, and it's not that difficult to figure out. That's the thing. So now that I've given you reasons, now look, it's not a perfect game. It's not completely polished. This is not Nintendo. See, you people that, because this is the internet and it is on PC specifically, you have this belief that video gaming started with PC games in the 90s, or that anything that's not on PC isn't worth your time. Nintendo is the only company, maybe not even Capcom anymore. Nintendo is the only company that you buy a game and right out of the outset, the game is polished, it doesn't crash, it doesn't have issues, it's just a great game from start to finish, and there are no real problems with it. Nintendo's the only company that does that. See, like with this one, Echoes of Wisdom, right? Or this one, Brothership. I got the game, I didn't need a 5-hour update right when I put it in, maybe about a minute update, and it was perfectly polished, no problems. See, Nintendo's the only company that does that, more or less. These other companies always need updates, and especially in the AAA space, they always need updates. This one needs to be refined. There are problems with the music turning off in the later eras. There are issues with, I had one crash, and there are some issues with loading up things in time. But really what it comes down to is people have been complaining about the user interface. No, the user interface, there are problems with relics and artifacts and even resources and sifting through the available spaces to put them in. That is a problem. Yeah, that needs to be updated. The user interface, I mean, if you don't like the way it looks, that's your opinion. It works. It functions perfectly fine. Everything in the game functions perfectly fine. But you see, the problem is that we have these people on the internet that think themselves gods, and they act as if their opinions are facts. What I just gave you, I gave you facts. It's available to all people. You don't have to be a Civilization player to understand it. I still say that it's more akin to playing on PC because there are a lot of point and click areas that I can't get to on my controller on the Switch. So that's something else that should be updated. But you have these people that they title their videos, "This game is trash, this game is this game is," as if they're telling facts. And so many idolize these individuals and will do what they say. Now listen, you have your money and you spend it however you want. I'm not telling you to buy the game. I spent $130 on it because I wanted everything and I wanted to be ready to play it for the sake of my own channel, getting some kind of views, some way or another, playing it on the Switch. But I enjoy it because it's a well put together game. It's a fun game that anyone can pick up and play it. You know, maybe if you're 5, you won't be able to, but anyone over the age of 10 can pick up and play. Would you be great at it immediately? No, but that's what makes a great game. Easy to play, difficult to master. but you want to keep going back. And you can keep using the same leader, and you can keep using the same civilization, or you can just change it up. You can use the same leader with a different civilization. There's so many different reasons to play this game, and everybody has little minor passives that work. So it's not like you're so far ahead. It's not like you just got to put yourself in a situation like in 6 and then take advantage of it. It requires thought. And that's part of the fun, is the problem solving. So it's a good, solid game. Like Brave New World is a good, solid movie. But you have these people with their own agendas talking about leftist agendas and why are they going to put politics in everything as they put politics in everything, who complain about one stupid fucking thing, one idiotic announcement that has nothing to do with the overall function or enjoyment level of the game, something that doesn't appeal to them, and then they have to dump all over it. The user interface isn't disgusting. It's not impossible to work through. It's not a problem. It's not ugly. It's not unplayable. It's perfectly fine. Being able to find your different units and everything a lot easier is perfectly fine. Everything about the game is perfectly fine. It needs a little polish, but as I've said, nobody's Nintendo. Nobody gives you a polished game anymore. It's just the crime of the business as a whole. It's something you have to roll your eyes and deal with. Even re-releases aren't polished. But that's more a problem with the gaming industry, not this game specifically. Not Firaxis, not Sid Meier. It's a problem with the industry itself. That's a completely separate issue. To make this game into a bad game that nobody likes and everyone's dumping on, I think you're wrong about that. I could be wrong myself, but the game is perfectly fine. So it's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to help you make a decision on your own. You do what you want. But I am saying to you, the game is fun, it has high replay value, easy to pick up, difficult to master. And I can help you along the way. If you have questions, you can ask me. This is carried over 4 consoles. Why you would get an Xbox or a PlayStation, I have no idea, but that's up to you. I understand the allure of PC, although it costs a shit ton of money, and most of us common folk and poor people, not the ones influencing the internet, they're always rich and have been rich their whole lives. Us, peons, plebeians, we might want to go the Switch route because it's cheaper and it has virtually every game that every game that is worth playing, especially the Nintendo exclusives, which are the best games by far. But whatever the case, the game is good. It's a really good game. It needs a little bit of tweaking, no doubt about it, but it's still an overall tremendous performance, tremendous experience, and I myself really enjoy it. And I'm going to keep going back to it, and you can watch me on my gaming channel. And don't forget to stay tuned here with any Switch 2 updates that I will be getting. Like I just got another update from another Direct that talked about a 4K re-release of Super Mario 3D World, I think, or something like that. So there's a lot going on with the Switch 2, but it'll all be here on this channel and on my gaming channel. As of now, I thank you all for watching, and more for you soon to come. So stay tuned, take care, and have a great day.